Brock is a rock-type gym leader, and so is weak to Misty. Misty is a water-type leader, and so weak to Lieutenant Surge. Surge is resisted by Erica, and I'll save you some brain work. The only gym leaders in the Kanto region that don't hate one another are Sabrina and Blaine. So here's the challenge. My first ever challenge here on YouTube. I, Birdkeeper Toby, a self-proclaimed Pokemon expert, except I'm only really an expert in the lore and not at all in the world of competitive stats or challenge runs. I am going to attempt to play through the Kanto region, and every time I beat a gym leader, I'll be throwing out my old team and stealing their Pokemon. Now this year, I've seen Smalant's amazing challenge runs and MandJ's Grunty Boy steal Pokemon, and thought, much like many of you, that would be cool. I should try that. I've played so many Pokemon games before, but never once have I tried a challenge run like this, a theme team or a Nuzlocke or anything of the sort. Not even a Birdkeeper's bird-only team run-through of any Pokemon game, and to be honest, I'm craving a little bit of extra challenge in my life. And when I thought about stealing gym leaders' Pokemon, I thought, wow, Kanto is the perfect region for this. In no other region do you have a string of 8 trainers who just seem to hate one another like this. Wait, did I say 8? I actually mean 12, because the Elite Four are at it too. Lorelei's ice types get bodied by Bruno's fighting Pokemon, and fighting Pokemon don't do a lot against the ghost type Agatha, and then you go up against the only dragon trainer in the entire game, Lance. All of this with no training in between. But if I wanted to swap out Pokemon between Elite Four members, I'd either need to play some kind of hacked or mod version of the game, which, to be honest, I don't really like. I'd much prefer to use the boundaries that the game has built into it. Or I would have one other option, which would be Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where you can access the box even between Elite Four battles. On top of that, I'd further challenge myself, forbidding myself from catching wild Pokemon. This is because 1, I won't need them, I'll have my Pokemon provided to me by the gym leaders, and 2, because in Let's Go, this is a way to spam gain experience and level up. I wanted to make this, actually challenging. And I know what you're thinking. Toby, without hacking or mods or catching, how are you going to get hold of the gym leader's Pokemon? And here enters, for the next part of the challenge, you, the lovely community from over on my Discord server, discord.gg/BirdkeeperToby, which you should totally join, by the way. You, the lovely community, answered my call. We put together a spreadsheet with every single Pokemon that a gym leader and Elite Four member uses in this game, along with their movesets and their levels, and then tried to just assemble on one copy of the game all of these Pokemon. This means that every Pokemon in this run through has one big downside to them. They're traded Pokemon. And anyone who's played a Pokemon game before knows that Pokemon that are traded in start to disobey you if you don't have all of the gym badges. For example, the Boulder badge, which is the first badge you get in this game, only allows Pokemon up to level 20 to obey you. Misty's team goes up to level 19, so almost that level 20 limit. So if I'm taking Brock's Onix and Brock's Geodude against Misty, you can maybe see where this challenge comes into it. I'm not going to be able to overlevel any of those Pokemon without huge risk of them disobeying me in the most critical moments in a battle. Still, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are famously some of the easiest Pokemon games, and maybe, just maybe, with all of these rules in place, I've managed to balance out this challenge. Still, you can let me know what I should change about this challenge for future in the comments, or heck, MandJ, Smallant, if you see this, maybe you want to adapt it and give it a go yourself. So, with my rules in mind and my Pokeball Go Plus in hand, I went live on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday for a month, and I began my adventure, my first publicly available YouTube challenge run, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, but every time I beat a gym leader, I steal their Pokemon. Let's do this. So right out of the gate, before I even left Viridian City, I've been stocking up on Pokeballs, and thank goodness this game gives you so many. I needed them to catch an army of Pidgeys, because of course I am a bird keeper, to trade these off for the various Pokemon that I'd be using in this run through. The true challenge doesn't really begin until after you beat Brock, so I headed straight for Pewter City, where immediately the doorman at the Pewter City gym said I couldn't come in without a Pokemon of a super effective type to Brock's gym. Luckily I had Erica's Oddish sitting in the wings, and I put it into my party just so I could get through the door. Then back into the box it goes, and I used my Pikachu to take on Brock. In any other game, Pikachu would hugely struggle here, but against Brock here in Let's Go, Pikachu is just unreal strong. I quickly put Brock in the corner and I didn't even have to set off the sprinklers, unlike Ash, that hack. And then and there, I ditched my Pikachu, despite it being absolutely glued to my shoulder for the entirety of this run through. And I stole Brock's level 11 Geodude, which my community named Big Man Kyle, and his level 12 Onix, known as Lady Liz, one of our own lovely community members. And then I got out of there faster than Team Rocket. Riding on the back of an Onix, I had to think about what my strategy was going to be going ahead. I had suspicions that the early sections of this run through might actually be harder than the later sections. See, as I mentioned earlier, the Boulder Badge gives me access to that level 20 Obey limit, and battling Misty's level 18 Psyduck and 19 Starmie would be hard, even if I managed to level up both Onix and Geodude to level 20, both being at type disadvantage, and with Starmie being an evolved special attacking Pokemon, I was going to have an uphill battle if I was going to get the Cascade Badge. Also, you might think just trade Onix and evolve it, but of course Onix cannot evolve in the Let's Go games. Steelix was not part of the original 151 and there's no Johto evolutions here. Plus, I don't even think I'm allowed to trade evolve here. I think that would go against the spirit of the challenge. Which means even if I were to overlevel Geodude into a Graveler, there was no way I was turning it into a Golem. But I did feel that Onix's stats were probably already good enough that I could at least take on one of Misty's Pokemon, maybe her Psyduck, with it. So instead I decided to focus my training on Geodude. And then the very first trainer out of the gate in this challenge had a level 6 Oddish. Thankfully, rather than doing any kind of grass-type shenanigans, it just used growth, meaning we absolutely rolled over it, defeated Kevin and his stupid shorts, and then faced very little opposition in Mount Moon. With no kind of Nuzlocke-style permadeath system on, the healing was always an option for me, and if we did happen to faint, we would just go back to the last Pokemon Center. But not dying doesn't make for a good video for the YouTube algorithm, and the algorithm was here to stop me. Literally, my rival in this game who isn't blue, which side note, by the way, if you and your rival in Let's Go both live in Pallet Town, then where do blue and red live? Anyway, the algorithm, spelled incorrectly because I'm horribly dyslexic, was waiting up front of Nugget Bridge ready to absolutely trounce us with his level 12 Oddish, who did use its Absorb, a move that could one-shot both Big Man Kyle and Lady Liz. This was a real problem and left me very unsure what to do. I couldn't just grind up against the minimal experience his Pidgey was giving off before the Oddish came out, and for the first time I'd have to find out if there was a brain hiding under that mop of mine and actually come up with a strategy. And I did. It was a somewhat simple one, but it proved very useful for the rest of the run. And that strategy is called X items. See, every time I fainted against the YouTube algorithm here in his Oddish, I would lose money, so I decided I needed to conserve this limited resource by spending it on an item I might use. And there I discovered an item that I don't think I've ever used in any of my vanilla Pokemon run-throughs ever. The X items, each of which boost a stat by one stage up to 3 times per stat. This meant that by boosting my special defense 3 times, Absorb might not one-shot my Onix or Geodude, and furthermore using X speed and X attack, I could guarantee that I would move fast and hit hard enough to one-shot myself. This wouldn't help in all battles, but by having his Pidgey to set up against, I could go in fully prepared, except his Pidgey used Sand Attack, a move lowering my accuracy. However, the item Guard Spec, which is just like these X items, could give me 5 turns to prevent this kind of stat debuff. Big Man Kyle proved himself and dominated, and gave us access to all of the trainers on the above route, and we were going to need the experience if we were going to beat Misty. I actually took a quick detour to Misty's gym to see what this challenge would be like, and oddly, I didn't really have much of a tough time against the gym trainers. Thinking that maybe this challenge wouldn't really be challenging, I went up against Misty and Oh no. I was not able to outspeed or outplay her, and unlike my rival, there was no way to set up against her Psyduck because Psyduck, despite how it appears in the anime, turned out to be deadly against my team. This was bad. So I did more training on the northmost route and leveled up my Pokemon and then came back once again. And once again, Misty destroyed me. And this was the first major issue that I found for this challenge, and I was beginning to wonder if it was even possible, because what I hadn't realized was that in Let's Go, the game wants you to catch Pokemon, and in fact throws so many Pokeballs at you, and this is how you're supposed to gain experience. To compensate for that, the trainers give very little experience, meaning I was well below the levels that I was hoping my Pokemon could be at this time. It was coming to the end of my stream, and things were looking bleak. And then hope appeared. Onix! Onix! No! Oh, Onix!
What is happening right now?
You saw right. Onix survived not one, not two, but 3 one-hit kill moves, with the second being on 1 HP, because in Let's Go, your friendliness with a Pokemon can help protect you from moves that would otherwise kill you. This seemed like a major breakthrough and maybe something I'd be able to exploit in this run-through, and maybe in another run-through in the future, that's what I do. The problem is that friendliness depends on whether you are winning or losing fights with your Pokemon, and against Misty, I was losing again and again and again. As well as that, until you beat Misty in the Let's Go games, you actually can't leave Cerulean City, and you can't go back through Mount Moon, meaning the only trainers I had were the ones above the Nugget Bridge, and I had run out of all of them. Well, apart from one. There was, of course, the famous Hiker Nob, named after the translator who translated a lot of the original Pokemon games from Japanese into English. This hiker had 2 Pokemon, a Geodude that I could take down easily enough, and then a Machop who was actually really likely to feint both my Geodude and my Onix. In theory, I could keep on battling Nob, taking out the Geodude and gaining a measly 126 experience per battle to try and gain some levels. And that amount of experience would go down with every level that my Pokemon increased. If I was going to take on Misty by overleveling Geodude and Onix, then this could take hours, days even. Grinding against Hiker Nob was not an option here. Things were looking bad, and I needed to end my first evening of streaming and think about what I was going to do. I needed some fresh air. I needed to go for a walk. And a walk is exactly what I did, with a solution that I hope you'll find not too busted and like it flies in the face of this challenge. See, I knew to beat Misty, I'd need to raise the level of my Geodude to 25, then it could become a Graveler. But that would have taken days and days of grinding, and this wasn't a challenge about how much spare time I have, which I don't have a lot of. So I used a feature that Let's Go offers in the form of the Pokeball Go Plus. The very one that I was using at the beginning that is a horrible controller but has one additional feature. You can take a Pokemon for a walk, and so I did. I took Geodude on a 1-hour walk with me, and I technically streamed this part of the run through too over on Instagram, another place of course that you can go and follow me. And I just started shaking and shaking and shaking the Pokeball Go Plus, listening to Geodude scream in pain. I've never done this before, so I had no idea how much experience this would give Geodude, or what level it would take it to, or even if this was a good idea. Remember, after level 20, Big Man Kyle would potentially stop obeying me altogether in the gym battles. It was drastic, but I felt that it had to be done. So I took my Pokeball Go Plus, I went on a walk, and then I began the next session of streaming. And well, as you can see, 15,000 experience took Big Man Kyle to the point of definitely over-leveling. I then used a rare candy that I got in Mount Moon to evolve my Big Man Kyle into Bigger Man Kyle, and after 2 or 3 times, I managed to find the right combination of healing, sand attacks, and X items that allowed me to get payback on Misty, both for being a great gym leader and also for breaking my heart at age 10 for not being real. And with that, I had done it. I had won my first badge, and while I didn't feel like the Pokeball Go Plus was too broken, I'm not sure how I would have done this without the Pokeball Go Plus, and I'd be interested to see someone accomplish this challenge without it for sure. Moving on with a sense of knowing what I was doing, the upcoming gym leaders would become more and more rapid. I had boxed Big Man Kyle and Lady Liz, and now have Misty's team of a level 18 Psyduck and a level 19 Starmie, which I would have to use to take on Lieutenant Surge with his level 25 Magnemite, level 25 Voltorb, and level 26 Raichu. Still an uphill battle, and again, I couldn't overlevel my Pokemon too much as they would only obey me up to level 30. And here were my initial thoughts. Psyduck can evolve, and it will boost its stats at level 33, but like Graveler, it'll stop obeying me, which could be a problem. Starmie, on the other hand, is a fast Pokemon with a high speed and high special attack, but ultimately, Psyduck became my ace for one reason and one reason only. See, in Cerulean City, once you have the badge, you can finally access those later routes, and you can battle a Team Rocket Grunt who will give you access to the TM for Dig, a move that will be super effective against every single Pokemon that Lieutenant Surge has. And with Dig, Confusion, and Scold, it carried me through the SSN and on to Surge's gym, where the trainers fell pretty quickly. They didn't do as much damage as I thought they would. Dig was just able to dominate. It was going well. And then we battled the Pokemon War really happened conspiracy leader himself, Lieutenant Surge, who made me realize why we'd been doing so well. because Surge's team all knew Thunderbolt, whereas all of the other electric Pokemon under the trainers in his gym knew Thunder Shock, a move that does less than half of the damage of Thunderbolt, and that absolutely destroyed my Psyduck and Starmie. I was gonna need to do a little bit more training before I came and battled this gym. Thankfully, at this point in the game, the Kanto region really opens up to you, giving you lots of trainers to battle. I was in a hard position though, and I had to work out exactly how many trainers I should battle, because I could battle every trainer available to me in Kanto, overlevel my team and take on Lieutenant Surge, but then those trainers wouldn't be there for when I needed to overlevel my next team. If I took the experience from battling trainers now, I'd simply be hindering myself later on in the run through. So after a pretty balanced, moderate amount of training, I decided to give Surge another go, and after just a little training, it turned out that between Scold's and Starmie's bulky stats, actually Starmie was the way to go. It became my main Pokemon for the battle, and unbelievably, I managed to defeat Surge quite quickly. So at this point, I was feeling good, not only because in my mind I had taken out the hardest two gym leaders of potentially this whole challenge, but also Surge had signed his autograph for me, the same one that appears in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, confirmation that the Pokemon War never happened, and that actually he's just an actor. Phew. Still, with Erica and her grass Pokemon on the horizon, a team that typically resists electric attacks, I was going to have to decide who would become my focal point. Should I be training Voltorb, Magnemite, or Raichu? And while you're working that out, a fun little bit of trivia for you. Voltorb under level 25 in Let's Go are impossible to catch. The ones that appear in the power plant are a much higher level, meaning this Voltorb actually had to be traded in from my friend Tony Daddy by way of Pokemon Go, so thank you Tony for that. Anyway, I decided eventually that the focus should not be on Voltorb or Raichu, but instead should be on Magnemite, because of course it can evolve into a Magneton pretty quickly, and Magneton has the Steel type, which it doesn't have in Pokemon Red and Blue. This would give it resistance against the poison type moves of most of Erica's team, because while she is a grass leader, a lot of the grass Pokemon in Kanto are also part poison type. At this point in the run through, people started suggesting in the chat that I should be battling the gym leaders out of order. That okay, if Erica was going to be weak against Koga and Koga weak against Sabrina, why not do them in reverse order? Because at this point in the game, Kanto's opened up to you. This wouldn't work for two reasons. Number one, I felt it went against the spirit of the challenge. Kanto was chosen for exactly the reason that the gym leaders in their chronological order are strong against one another. The other would be because actually it would be more of a challenge. I would have to take Surge's team through the Game Corner, Lavender Tower, and Self Co, all with this one team with no new badges, meaning my Pokemon will be disobeying me a lot. And even if I did that, I would then have Sabrina's team to take on Koga, Koga's team to take on Erica, and then I would be stuck with Erica's team to take on Blaine. So that would have been a terrible idea. So after getting through the Pokemon tunnel, I was off to Erica. I ditched my Voltorb, Magneton, and Raichu, and now had her Tangela, Weepinbell, and Vileplume. And at first here, knowing that Koga was going to be the next gym leader, I thought that I should focus on Vileplume and then evolving Weepinbell with the Leaf Stone to get Victory Bell and have those Pokemon as my aces. Because they were second stage evolutions and they were poison type, meaning that the poison type advantage the Koga had would be gone. But then I discovered Tangela, a Pokemon that I have gained so much respect for in this run through, I might even get one for my Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl team. Not only is this Pokemon hella curly like me, its Confusion attack took out most of what Giovanni brought to the table in the Game Corner, all of the Ghastly in the Pokemon Tower, and then when we got to Koga, I was actually leaving trainers for later because I was so confident that Toby's Tangela had this. That's right, Toby's Tangela now, not Erica's Tangela. And all this time, I wasn't really questioning if the gym leaders missed their beloved Pokemon. People in chat were accusing me of being as bad as Team Rocket, although I was somehow a blight on the Kanto region. And I thought about that. For the first time, I reflected and wondered if maybe I was some kind of criminal. Then I remembered that this is a video game, none of this is real, and wow, this Tangela is cool. It absolutely destroyed Koga in just a couple of attempts using its Confusion attack. Tangela, I love you. Or at least that's what I said as I threw Tangela's Pokeball in the bin and picked up Koga's Pokemon. I now had an army of poison Pokemon to take on Sabrina's gym with, as well as all of Silph-Co, but Golbat felt like the right choice here. It had access to Bite, Leech Life, and Shadow Ball, all moves with super effective power against Psychic Pokemon that have secondary effects. Bite can flinch, Shadow Ball can lower the special defense of the opponent, and Leech Life can give me health back. So Golbat, with its super fast speed, felt like the way to go. And it was. After stopping Team Rocket's plot and telling them that I'm the ultimate Pokemon thief and better than all of them, I then took on Sabrina and won pretty quickly. And then the trip from Sabrina in Saffron City all the way over to Cinnabar Island is actually really quick, with only one necessary trainer encounter in the Cinnabar Mansion. This one trainer was actually surprisingly hard, but as soon as I got through this scientist, I found Mewtwo's cloning tank and thought about how Ditto is definitely a Mew clone before answering all of Blaine's questions absolutely correctly, because I am a Pokemon master after all. And bodied Blaine in not only the only battle in the whole of this run through where you have type neutrality, but I actually had type super effectiveness because Slowbro is part water type. Gosh, this run through was going so well I almost forgot it was a challenge as I faced off against Giovanni, the final gym leader who has super effective attacks against me, who has a Dugtrio that I just cannot outspeed and that will earthquake my entire team. Uh-oh. Suddenly it felt like I was battling Misty again. Still, I had been streaming this for 3 weeks now, and I picked up a trick or two that involved healing items and X items in the correct order. I knew that ultimately I had to outmaneuver the physical attacks, and I had one Pokemon that could use an attack before Dugtrio hit me. And thankfully, in Let's Go, there's an undercover member of Team Snooze who actually has the TM for Will-O-Wisp there in Viridian City. With Will-O-Wisp, I'd be able to burn the opposing Pokemon and half their physical attack moves, which was perfect for fighting Giovanni. So then I ditched Blaine's team and took on Giovanni's Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Rhydon, and Dugtrio. And I set my sights on the final prize, the Elite Four. And with that, I felt it was time to update the rules of the challenge. See, I felt that the last few gyms had really flown by, and while it was a challenge, there was no real punishment for losing in any way, shape, or form. Something that there absolutely will be when I do my first ever Nuzlocke with the release of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, something I'm saying now on the channel apparently, so I guess I'm committed to that. Why do I do this to myself? So I wanted to push myself, to give myself one more challenge, and I said, okay, I'm not gonna battle any more unnecessary trainers in Kanto, and the moment I beat the algorithm once more and I get through Victory Road, I'll decide on what items I need in the Elite Four, I'll lock the doors behind me, and then I'll save the game. And if I haven't bought the right stuff, that the challenge would be over. I wasn't going to get to save again, and if I fainted my team, I would have to come back to this save point. Absolutely all of the Elite Four and the champion had to be done in a single run through. And then I took on Lorelei. But before I go any further, Pokemon Masters, this is a very new type of video for me, and I'm not gonna ask you to like and comment and subscribe and those things. While of course they do help, I just wanted to say thank you, because I've been doing Pokemon content on YouTube for over 6 years, and I really haven't done that much gameplay stuff. I have such a supportive community, and while I don't get to reading them very often and definitely not replying to them, the way you all are to me in the comments and on Instagram and on Discord and in the live streams and on Twitter, and those of you who are on Patreon, you're all just magnificent and so lovely to me, and I just wanted to say thank you. And thank you for supporting me and trying new things. I'm gonna try and do a couple more videos like this, and hopefully the format will get better and better every time I do it. This is very new for me, so thank you. We're almost at 250,000 subscribers, and that is just absolutely wild. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Lorelei. Lorelei dominated Giovanni's team. The problem was here is I was going to need to set up to try and sweep 6 Pokemon, but in the time that it took me to set up enough X defenses and special defenses and attacks and speeds and everything else, they would land a critical hit, and a single critical hit from Lorelei would be enough to kill that Pokemon, and then I'd have to start setting up again. But then I'd be wasting X items, the X items that I needed for later battles in this Elite Four run. But eventually I got that perfect run where I sent out Dugtrio first and used Stone Edge, then let the Dugtrio fall, and then using Nidoking, I could set up and Thunderbolt my way through the rest of her Pokemon and steal her team. Now using the feature that's only in Let's Go, I boxed out Giovanni's team in the middle of the Elite Four, bought in Lorelei's team, and Bruno was much less of a problem than I thought. With a Slowbro back on my team, I could buff the physical defense of my Slowbro and then use X items to Surf and Psychic my way to victory. And while Bruno's Hitmonchan does know Thunder Punch, it wouldn't matter because with X speeds, my Slowbro was able to outspeed even a Hitmonchan. Next was Agatha, who I had to fight with Bruno's team, and I spent my time using X items on my Onix, using ground move Earthquake to obliterate all of her Pokemon apart from her Golbat, which had to take a Rock Throw to the face instead. No Levitate for her Gengars here, as there's no abilities in Let's Go, and it's not like her Arbok was really going to do anything to my Onix anyway. And what was an Arbok even going to do against an Onix? It's like 3 times the size. all it could do was use Glare, which I would heal up against after using all of my X item buffs, and Onyx prevail. I was then looking at Lance's team, unsure quite what to do, because unlike the other trainers, Lance is known for not having a full type of dragons. There would have to be surely some kind of mental gymnastics to work out what his team are weak to. Oh, hang on. Lance isn't a dragon leader. Lance is a bird keeper. Look at all those flying types, and the only non-flying type there is the Seadra, and that's water type. I see the weakness here. Using Agatha's Gengar and Thunderbolt, I was able to take on Lance's team and finally steal his dragons. And then it was time. The algorithm was all that was left in my way. I wasn't confident that I could spell the word correctly again. A-L-G-O, Algor, I-T-H, algorithm, E-M? Is that right? Yeah, I've got no clue, but I was confident that I could take him in battle. And you know what? I was also confident that I could take on the YouTube algorithm with this video, because if you are here and you are still watching, no matter how many of you there are, and I don't know how well this video will do, you're an absolute legend. So thank you for helping me beat the algorithm just by being here. Also, I did have one other trick up my sleeve. Mega Evolution. Because in the Let's Go games, there are just 3 Pokemon that you can Mega Evolve before completing the Elite Four. And that is Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. And of course, Lance has a Charizard on his team. With that, I was able to sweep through the algorithm and become the champion. I had done it. And so, with that, my first challenge run was done. I have done some kinds of challenge runs before. I beaten Platinum with just the Babarrel once a long time ago, Miyamoto the Babarrel, and I also did a solo Rolo run of Black and White with a Lillipup that was named after my dog Rolo. But this is the first time I've done anything with rules, and to be honest, I really needed this. Over the last year or so, I really haven't played that much Pokemon. I feel like I know these games so well, they're just not a challenge to me anymore. But I'm not a speedrunner either, and the idea of a Nuzlocke just sounds really scary to me. I'm a Pokemon theorist. I love the lore and the world building of Pokemon, but I do think I should do more to try and challenge myself. My best friend Falcone, who streams on Twitch, is currently doing his first Nuzlocke over on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Falcone, and I've been popping in there to help against Whitney from time to time. He's already died twice doing the Heart Gold run through, but he's still going for another run until he gets it done. I should take that inspiration and try and use it for myself on this channel with my first ever Nuzlocke of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl coming out hopefully before the end of the year. And I will probably be streaming that here, or I might be streaming it on Twitch. Make sure you're following me on both, or subscribe to both to know. Subscribe on YouTube and follow on Twitch. Those are the ones. And if you have any recommendations for any non-modded challenges or nothing like a randomizer, I don't like the idea of a randomizer. I like the idea of playing with what the game gives me. If there's anything I can do that you think you'd find interesting, let me know in the comments. I'm really open to the ideas. And again, I just want to say thank you for your support. And of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
Wow, what can I say but thank you to everyone supporting this channel, especially those you supporting on Patreon, and the big patrons of this month: JD Gottlich, Michael Hornschuch, PokeAtmos, PokeBliss, Jedruben, Matty Bar, and Stefan Peters. Thank you, all of you. Legends.